Cardinals podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Are you hungry for a big win this week? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL game to win their game, and or any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. It's that simple. Just remember to use the code PHNX when you sign up. Johnny, Frank, Saul, good to be back with you guys.
Good
I
to
was
back.
in Cleveland like forever.
I know.
Like
we were
5
surprised
days
you
or
came
something
back
like
today.
that.
We thought you might just relocate.
Thought Grandma was gonna keep you.
Yep.
I didn't think she was gonna let you come back out to the desert. So
I chilled with Granny a lot.
That's
It was
good.
awesome.
like, what do you like? What
What
do
does
y'all do?
chill
Like,
with
what does
Granny
chill
mean?
with
Like,
Granny mean? Like a
Chill and Granny
glass
means
of
different
wine.
things in different states.
Backgammon.
Yes,
What are you thinking?
backgammon,
Like if I was chilling with Granny in
Spades,
Colorado, it's probably not the same kind of chill.
right? Yeah, that's a different kind of chill in Colorado.
We went sightseeing. We went to like lunch and dinner. We had some drinks. We watched a movie together. We watched a football game together.
Okay.
That
We
sounds
just hung
lovely.
out.
Does Granny
Aw.
get lit?
No,
She
don't turn up?
But I mean,
She don't
maybe
turn up.
maybe back in the day, but she'll like have a drink.
Oh, that's good.
That's what's up. That's a start. That's a start. That's a starting point.
She would probably order like a Tom Collins or something like that.
I don't even know what that is. You know what she ordered was Johnny Walker on the rocks.
Oh.
I
That's
wanna-
my kind
that's
of lady
my
right
girl
there.
right
Granny,
there.
I'm fucking around.
Yeah.
That's a true
Yeah.
Ohioan right
I
there.
know,
That's
right
right.
there. Wait,
And
when it
she's
gets
like, oh,
cold,
no,
I
don't
need
And
set
she
some
the
told
water
me
or
to
something.
try it, and I was like,
Don't put all this other fluffy shit in there.
I know.
I want that on the rocks.
I'm gonna say when it gets cold, I want something to
Grandma's
warm the
tolerance
soul.
is high.
I want.
But before I left, I grew up really close to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, never went.
Cool.
And I decided, you know what, just make the drive out there while you've got the chance, and went and had an absolute blast. Like, I left there fired up. They've got this thing with Joe Namath where you go into like this locker room. It's got like Staubach and it's like lockers, and then Joe Namath like basically just like fires you up,
Like yells at you and gets you excited
just
about.
motivates you, and then you hear from like other people, but it's all just like a motivational thing, like you can be the Hall of Famer of your life, and I like.
Oh wow.
then do they play the clip of him drunk trying to kiss Susie Culver
know.
right afterwards?
I know.
I'm
That's
just,
what I thought about immediately.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that
It's not
that's
fun- it's
all
not
I
funny.
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad moment.
was
but
inappropriate.
There's 1,000 more moments about Joe Namath's life that, I mean, touched a bunch of people's lives. So it is an unfortunate moment, and they caught him at a good time to have an unfortunate moment. But I wish I'd have been there too to kind of check that moment out where you can walk into a locker room like that and have, one of your maybe potential heroes or somebody that you respect a lot to see what they've done in the game of football to
It was
really
a
get in that
hologram.
moment.
It's different. It's
It was a
different.
hologram.
Yeah, it was cool.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame is different because the other leagues, it's like baseball Hall of Fame. So it's not just Major League Baseball. It's other leagues, whereas the Pro Football Hall of Fame is just the NFL, basically. And it's just so cool.
Yeah, no, it was. Bird Gang Travel, no, 100% was. Yeah. And I originally said I didn't have time, and then I was like, you know what? Bird Gang Travel, and we'll talk about something very cool with Bird Gang Travel coming up in a little bit. But yes, it was your recommendation. And some cool things Arizona related that I saw. One of the pylons that was on the field during the Hail Murray was there, signed by Kyler and D-Hop.
Nice.
Something like small, but I thought was pretty cool, was like Zaven, like the draft cards for all the first
Yeah, you posted.
rounders.
That was super cool.
Yeah, so Zaven's, was up there. I
It's
mean,
nice to see it. It's not all like official. It's just like scribble scrabble.
Yeah.
yeah,
Frame this.
it's really
Laminate
simple.
this piece, would you?
Yeah.
Pin it up here.
Is there I've never been, so it's I'm gonna ask you a crazy question that might sound crazy. With all the artifacts or all the great things that have happened in the NFL, is this like a 7-story building above ground, or maybe is there a vault that you walk down into to kind of see all this stuff, or is it just that massive that you can see historically, the NFL and all the players, and like you're talking about a power line, that's one play of how many that year happened. So did you is there like multiple layers or levels that that's at the building?
I
I've never
think
been.
there's only, because you kind of like follow through a maze, but it seemed like there was only 2 levels.
Okay.
to it. It actually wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe they swap things out. You know, so like I don't know that pylon is going to remain forever.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah, so I think in order to like fit everything, they like swap stuff out.
There's probably a vault somewhere with a bunch of stored historical items that, you know, it was like, oh, this is the napkin that whatever Franco used in
Franco Harris used
Franco
in
Harris used,
1970.
when he was wiping his sweat after he caught the Immaculate Reception. And here it is.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we don't need this anymore. Let's put it in the box.
That'd be interesting.
I'm going to say one more thing that I thought was very interesting, and then we can move on. But they had molds of some athletes' like legs, so like Jerome Bettis's leg.
Oh.
Oh my God. It was like the size of like my whole body if I were to just stand there. And then like their arms too. So like you got like and then you could put the helmet on, like a quarterback helmet, and you can hear that. I thought that stuff was cool.
Oh, you could hear what the quarter is.
Yeah, so they had
That's
like
real cool.
calls or whatever that were, and or like real communication rather, that they had recorded, and so you got to put the helmet on and hear like literally what a coach had been saying to somebody at one point. I thought
That
it
is
was really
cool.
That's
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
What if they tried to like get my arm mask up and no. My leg.
I got no answers for that.
I like have a
I
Mike
think Matt
Vanderjagt
Brady would be
body.
like, look, I can
Remember
do
Mike
that.
Vanderjagt, the little kicker? No, not Mike Vanderjagt. Who's the kicker that the Cardinals had? It might have been during your time, Frank.
Grammatica.
Martin Grammatica.
Martin Grammatica.
I got a Martin
Automatica,
Grammatica body.
Automatica.
Yeah.
Hey, don't knock my K-State Wildcat now, baby.
Look, your K-State
Emo.
Wildcat was funny.
cool.
Yeah, but this is
Anyway.
great. Yeah.
I love how I flex and Chierstin just can't control herself and starts laughing. It's just
Well, they could definitely mold that and cast that of where you started at and where you can get.
I've
to.
become very soft. I used to weight train. Now I have 2 kids.
Out of
and
context
you
quotes
just
right
can't.
there.
You just
We had about 4 of those on the Suns podcast today, and now we have our 5th one of the day.
Johnny, did you used to be buff or what?
yeah. I'm 5'6", but I have small arms, so when I bench and stuff, I don't have to go down nearly as far. Frank knows what I'm talking about.
I know.
Like,
I know exactly.
And
what
so
he's talking
I can
about.
pump up pretty quickly, but I just now there's just
Yeah.
too many conflicting competing priorities in my life where I can't get to the gym as much as I want to,
Okay.
which is unfortunate. But yeah, check out my Instagram. I got some older photos on there. Used to be put together, but yeah, now I'm just kind of sloppy in my DraftKings
I
shirt.
could not stop thinking about the Burger King commercial. He's like, "Oh, I want to eat that hamburger, but I got these small hands." He's afraid to hold on to the
Well, I didn't say my hands were small, but you went there.
Oh my God, it's too
All
funny.
right, we mean no disrespect to Johnny.
That is not
No.
true. Just continue.
But the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, do we have some funny comments?
I'm at the
Maybe we
gym
should
right
leave?
now. Oh man.
Must be
Oh.
nice.
They got you beat. The Arizona
What is happening?
Johnny used to Hulk.
Mm.
Is that
can
your
test
friend?
That is my
Dylan?
cousin. Dylan is my cousin. Hey, Dylan, what's up, man? Thanks for watching the show.
That's nice. Your family
Yeah,
defending you.
I pub the show. I get people to watch. I get eyes on the product. Come on now.
There you go.
Hilarious.
Company man right there.
That's right.
All right, no disrespect to Johnny, but the Cardinals are getting a lot of disrespect from
True.
national media. I feel like every time I go on social media, I see a complaint from a Cardinals fan that they're not getting the same amount of respect or the same amount of airtime. All about the Cowboys, etc. Even though the Cardinals are the only undefeated team in the league. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are they being disrespected?
Absolutely. Yeah, like there's no other team in the league that can make the claim that they are the best in the NFL because no other team has won all their games.
Mhm.
Only the Cardinals. And after last night's game, because the Bills were the one that everybody would say, well, week 1 was kind of a fluke. So, but they look like the best team in the NFL because Josh Allen's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And then they lose to the Titans. The same Titans that the Arizona Cardinals whooped their ass on.
Mhm.
Well, hey, there you go. That's all the proof I needed to know that the
Yeah.
Cardinals are a legit team by going into Tennessee and stomping them out in week 1 the way they did. There's no other argument to be made.
I would argue the first 3 games that there was a bunch of question marks, and we got lucky. So they want to say we got lucky with the Titans. We got, definitely 100% got lucky with the Minnesota Vikings and the kicker missing the field goal. But the next couple of stretch of games we had between the Rams, who they had definitely prompted up as the best team in the NFL, offensively and defensively. Then the 49ers, of course, they didn't have Garoppolo, but still they had a defense that could come out and probably that could be an in-conference game that can shut you down. Then you go on the road versus the Cleveland Browns, and you beat them handedly. And it's not a bad team. It's a good team with a lot of talent. They're just probably not playing as great as they need to right now, but they are a really, really good team. And yeah, they're crapping on the Cardinals right now.
Hey.
They're crapping on them. And honestly, the crazy thing about it is the Cardinals. The crazy thing about it is the Cardinals have at least 9 top 50 players in the NFL right now on their team. And I'm just throwing a number out there. At least 9 top 50 players on their team. There should be no conversation against this team that says they're not the best in the league and that they're not deserving of of all the they deserve more accolades than they're giving them, and they're crapping on them. And I really honestly don't know why.
Johnny posted something on the PHNX Cardinals account, or maybe it was you, Chierstin, I don't know, of J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Storming up and down the sideline talking about what they're going to say. You know what I mean? Like, you know.
We don't, Leah, we don't have that? No. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's on our Twitter, PHNX Cardinals at Twitter. Go watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, talking about maybe we're just better.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just better. Storming up and down the sideline. Maybe we're just better. They always talk about this team didn't have this and this team didn't have that. Maybe we're just better.
It's funny. So I have a shameless plug, go phnx.com. I got an article coming out tomorrow about why I think J.J. Watt and his arrival and his impact on this team mirrors a certain Hall of Famer, Reggie White, when he went to the Green Bay Packers and what that changed their culture. And coming into the season, we've talked about it like objectively. Objectively, I thought top 10 to 12 roster in the NFL. The question marks were squarely on Cliff Kingsbury. Well, Cliff Kingsbury has elevated his game this year. But I just think that Watt's presence on this team is a determining factor of why they're 6-0. And that clip encompassed that. Yep. And so I think they feed off of this. I don't think they give 2 shits about it. You think about, like, I try to go back and look at trajectories for teams when they start to have peak success. Like, what do you think the national narrative was of that 2012 Seattle Seahawks team where they suddenly became great out of nowhere and won the Super Bowl? I think they probably got their fair share of disrespect. Or if you go back to like the early years of Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, nobody talked about Golden State basketball. So this is their period right now where people are still heavily downing them because they don't have the resume. I don't think it matters at all. It's frustrating for, I'm sure, the Valley and the community that supports this team. If you're not absorbing this content on a 5-day basis, then you probably don't find a lot of Cardinal news and information on, national outlets, the ESPNs, the NBCs of the world. But what I will say is that I don't think the players care. I saw CBS Sports had them like 7th in their power rankings, that's just objectively just ridiculous. So when you see that,
like this week,
yeah, today CBS Sports had them 7th in their power rankings.
Yeah, CBS Sports can go.
I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
No,
but
it doesn't.
You can also point to, I think the Suns battled that last
great
year
example.
as well.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just Arizona sports in general.
Well, yeah.
Maybe it's the market.
Go ahead.
No, I'm with you on that. But I really think that there are more media people right now that already has their "I told you so" story already written. That this team is not as good as we thought they were. 1 loss. Oh, my God. Here it is. The Cardinals lost to this team. I told you they wasn't better than that. They're waiting for that. You might get a snippet of what we're doing, but you're not.
They're waiting for the other shoe to fall.
They're waiting for that part. And that's the disrespectful part that is a slap in the face, because watching where this team has come from the last 2 years, all the conversation pieces of not having a top-tier head coach, finding a losing coach out of college, coming in young, Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen, all this stuff that happened in the last 2 years to now, but to have the names. That's the part that's blowing my mind, Saul, is that when you have a J.J. Watt, you have a D. Hops, when you have those names and they're performing. It's not names that's not performing. These are names that are performing And they should be applauding and 100% giving kudos to how these guys have come from other places and transitioned this Arizona Cardinals team into something that they haven't seen in decades. And that's the part where, to me, as a former player, it's a slap in the face. Because if I was on this team and I had these players, I would feel like, man, there's nothing we can't do. And right now, the media, if you was listening to the media as a player.
So you would care. So Johnny says they don't care, you would care.
I would care.
I think Watt's using this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a million percent.
And because he knows, he knows what it's like to be
disrespected.
Not just disrespected, but to be a top tier guy and know what it's like to get self-praise, but not when his team is not doing good, you don't get that praise.
There's been times when Watt was on good Houston Texans teams, and they didn't get any love, so he knows how it feels.
It's so bad, man.
He was like a 2-star recruit out of high school,
but he's out of the AFC though, and you can't trump Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
I just think that at the end of the day,
but still,
this is why you brought him on.
Yeah.
Like right now, his role that he's serving is the best $23 million guaranteed that maybe Michael Bidwell will ever spend. If they have a special season, it's in large part because of Kyler Murray and the offense and what they're doing. The defense of this team right now is playing at a higher level than the offense. And the offense is top, I think, 6th in the NFL in total yards. The defense is 2nd in points per game allowed, behind only Buffalo, which is 18.2 per game. And think about the teams that they played. The Rams, the Titans, the Browns, playoff teams from last year. I mean, that is staggering to me. That's a credit to Vance Joseph, but Watt is the differentiator. What's different from last year now? It's J.J. Watt.
Not only that, but, Chierstin, we talked about their deflation last year towards the second half of the season, going from 6-3 to basically out of the playoffs and finishing up at 8-8. So you have the memory of that. And then you bring in guys like J.J. Watt and Rodney Hudson.
Yeah.
Again, Rodney Hudson traveled to Cleveland just so he could help out because of all the loss that was going on due to COVID. That is leadership to a T.
Yeah.
And so when you have leadership, especially when you have leadership in the front seven and the offensive line, it just changes the game. And I think the national narrative, all you have to do is listen to Keyshawn Johnson and get a picture of what the national narrative is, because they use the same air raid offense over and over and over again. And these dudes absolutely ran the clock out and busted Cleveland in the mouth.
Yeah.
That's not air raid.
Physically.
So get that out of your head.
No, they have objectively a Super Bowl roster. This roster is good enough to go and win the Super Bowl with how they're playing right now. Injuries permitted, right? If things happen and God forbid something happens to Kyler Murray or Watt or company, which it's a long season, 17 games now, things can change. But if they're relatively healthy by the time the postseason starts, they have as good a chance as anybody.
Also, just a little side nugget. I was listening to 98.7 today, so shout out to them and their shows. But Kurt Warner talking about Kyler Murray is still leaving a ton of plays out there to be made. So they're 6-0, and Kyler Murray still hasn't been able to, take this offense to a level he could possibly take it to in the second half of the season.
Don't we always talk about that? We're sitting here watching the games when they're away, and we're like, man, they scored 37 points. They easily could have scored 50 points today. They were in the red zone after those 2 turnovers by Baker Mayfield. They easily could have scored points there. Yep. They're only on the cusp of what they can accomplish. I think that's what Watt is continually harping on.
Yep.
I still feel it's mind-boggling because the national media that I have listened to, it always seems to be, what went wrong with the other team rather than what went right with the Arizona Cardinals. And I just can't put my finger on it. I get everything that you guys are saying, but at the same time, it's I think Peter said that, they're just after clicks. But is that a knock then on the Arizona Cardinals fan base? I don't think that, the fan, I mean, obviously Dallas is Dallas. And so if you make that argument, I get that. 'Cause they're, they've got the fan base, but
they have won for the first time since that. We've talked about this, so this is probably not news to you guys, but I'm going to repeat it because it's insane. They're the first team since the 2007 Patriots with Tom Brady and Randy Moss, that undefeated regular season team, to blow out their first 4 road opponents by double digits since that 2007 Patriots team. So I like that there has to be a common denominator of their success. They're not eking out wins because teams are fumbling the ball away and they're just getting lucky on last-second field goals outside of Minnesota at home. They have won their first 4 games by double digits on the road, and no team has done that since those record-setting Patriots of 2007. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Right now, the Cardinals are 3.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe that when I saw
My
that.
golly, get him on the national TV.
That's right.
Let's tie in a little bit to what Peter was talking about. Right now, the Cardinals are 6-0, but they're 3-3. They're three wins on the road and 3 wins at home.
4-2.
4-2.
4 wins on the road, 2 at home.
2 at home,
right?
At Titans.
Rams,
yeah, they've only played 2 home games.
Yeah, Jags.
They're a better road team than they're a home team.
LA and now Cleveland.
So they're 4-2. Right?
4-2. Yeah. 4.
So they haven't been here long enough. They haven't played in front of their fans.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go with Peter. They haven't played in front of their fans.
The disrespect thing, they play better on the road. That's the
true.
Watt factor.
I think it's amazing, man, how it's something about the conversation pieces that they already know what they want to build up. And right now the Cardinals are doing something that they really don't want to celebrate. And that's what it just looks like. They just don't want to celebrate it. They don't want to celebrate it like it was something like, if you really want to have a major storyline, again, we don't have a major media market here. So we're not flashing out tons of, like if you was in Dallas or you was in a major, big city.
That's what I was saying. That's why I think it might be Arizona's market.
I just think it's our market that's not really, that they can't flood the market with the same kind of power that another team sitting in a head
sustained success changes.
At one point, though, and you kind of saw this with the Suns, though, it's like at one point you can't ignore it. And so hopefully the Cardinals get to that point where it's like, well, you got no choice. You only have, so many teams standing, or they're still undefeated deep into the season, whatever the case is. It'll come to a point where you can't ignore it anymore.
Just like the Suns, they were still waiting for the Suns to fail.
Yeah.
And they still had storylines for the Lakers to come back or Golden State to make a run at the end.
Clippers,
The Clippers,
okay, but even so, by the end of it, it was like, oh, well, the Suns only did that because the Lakers had injuries and everyone else had injuries, and that's why the Suns made that deep run. So I don't know what it is.
Hey, excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one. That's right. Move along.
We'll ride this season out, and I like where it's going right now. Again, it's as long as we're still under the radar and the guys got that little grunt in their belly that they need to continually punish teams because we're not getting that kind of respect, then Thursday night is a good opportunity, not knocking on Sunday. Thursday night is a really good opportunity, and as the season keeps progressing, they just got to keep pounding teams, and then the storyline is going to have to change eventually.
Well, they always say in football, make them feel you.
That's right.
That's it, make them feel you.
Christian Kirk said it best before the season started. They were feeling themselves when they were 6-3 last year. So a couple people brought in to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's what's up.
So today was the first time that I feel like it actually hit me as to how difficult what the Cardinals pulled off actually was. I mean, we were talking about it, and it kind of was like, oh my gosh, but then it happened so fast, and then after they, won in such convincing fashion, it didn't like settle with me. So today, talking with Spencer Whipple and Jeff Rogers, special teams coordinator, and listening to how their weekends went and how it all sort of unfolded and what it took to pull it off, I was like, okay. I mean, you think next man up in any sport really, pertains to players and not as much pertaining to coaches. And they've had to sort of, I guess in the COVID era, be ready for more adversity than ever before. But, they found out basically, they were working out or they were doing things outside of the facility, Friday evening, and game plan had already been put in place. They already thought that they were past the adversity of the week. They were riding into Sunday, and all of a sudden you don't have a head coach. And Spencer Whipple had only ever called one game in his entire life. That was UMass versus South Florida or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
How'd that game go?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. 2018.
You didn't watch that day?
Yeah, maybe I'll look it up real quick. I have no idea. But one game, that's it. One college game.
I remember sitting here Sunday after we did our PHNX tailgate show, which you should absolutely watch every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And I was sitting here with Saul, and I'm like, I'm fully prepared to give them a pass today. I picked them to lose. I don't want to be critical. And I'm sitting here and we're watching the game transpire, and we touch base with you before and after, and I'm like, I cannot believe how efficient they are. I cannot believe how well they're playing. There was no circumstance that I saw that happening outside of like half of Cleveland's team, Mayfield and all their good players like suddenly becoming injured. It was incredible what the coaching staff has been able to do. A coaching staff that was routinely considered the joke of the NFL when they couldn't put teams away in the second half of last year suddenly has an infrastructure where you can lose your head coach and your assistant offensive coach, play caller, and some of your best players en route to ahead of Sunday, and you can have that kind of performance against a Cleveland team that needed that win. 3-2, they're at home, and they're going to run the ball against the 29th, 30th ranked run defense. That performance, to me, I said it during the week last week, and I said it after the show. It's the most impressive performance by a Cardinal team, I think, certainly in the Michael Bidwell era, but regular season since they moved to the desert in 1988. I've never seen anything like it.
Ooh, man.
I just,
Sure.
given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances, I can see why you would say that for sure.
I had no. I thought they'd win, but I've only thought because of the leadership that we talked about, and we pointed. You said it earlier, but I pointed this thing out that said, "We've never been here. Fans, you've never been here. I've never been here. I don't know if any one of us has been here with the Cardinals to understand what it feels like to be 5-0 and 6-0, and then have the implications that this team is really kicking a lot of teams' butt, and they're doing it really.
Yeah.
They're doing it. It looks, and it's not perfect, and it has so much more room to grow. So we all are watching our team grow, and then watching our coach develop these plays, watching Kyle and and AJ Green become this guy that we didn't. He started making plays. Christian Kirk's making plays. The defensive guys are making plays. Leadership has to start to take a major effect now in how we start looking at what we're doing. We said it last week. You asked about, what's a one-game mentality. Everyone always talks about that. It's just the next game. How do we get ready for the Houston Texans and play them like we're playing the Green Bay Packers and have that same energy and intensity? Well, you just can't overlook them. And that's exactly what they would do. To watch.
I didn't say how. I said it's a cliche.
And cliché-ically, how do they do it?
Yeah. Well, what makes the difference between teams that say it and teams that are actually able to pull it off?
That's that leadership. And that's what we saw. This, to watch coaches change positions and stand up and make the calls they had to and do the stuff they had to do. Let me tell y'all something. I have seen more coaches piss their pants on the sideline.
Are you talking like literally?
Like not literally, but not want to make a not. Well, I mean, not, if I see that,
the new sponsor of the NFL.
Depends, right?
Dave McGinnis pissed his pants when we went to Dallas one night for a Monday night game.
I'm telling you, like it's a serious moment where to take ownership of having to make that call, having to call a play on 3rd and 4, or having to call a play when it's 4th and 1. That in itself, sometimes you watch coaches panic and not be able to do that. And then as a fan, you might think it's like, why are we running a draw on 3rd and 13? He didn't want to call the play that we've been running in practice. We got 3 of them that we can get 3rd and 15 and 3rd and 20. But he won't call that play so he can, strategically or just cowardly. And sometimes, but to watch these guys go to a hostile environment and then put it together, I'm 100% impressed. There's 100% impressed.
There's only one other game that I can think of in Cardinals history that I can look back to and say that was an ass whooping.
Yeah, it
was unexpected because of the situation. And I'm not saying that because my man's sitting right here next to me, but honestly, going on the road, 19-0 against the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs, like that was an unexpected ass whooping considering they hadn't won shit in Dallas for the longest time.
That's fair.
Against Aikman and Emmett and all them boys. So that's the only other game that I can think of. Because even in the Super Bowl run, maybe the Carolina game.
Yeah. That's true.
That was an ass whooping too. Yeah. But these 3 games.
I guess I'm separating the playoffs from the regular season.
Sure. But yeah, regular season wise, I don't think there's been a better game.
They won by 23 points.
So I would agree with you there. For
the
sure.
NFL is predicated on parity. The league wants parity. And if you watch most games, and if you're on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, there's a reason why most lines are single digits, because the talent level is that close. Mm-hmm. For this team to win consistently by double digits, it's completely unheard of. There's no way to predict it. The Pete Ken Wisenhunt, Kurt Warner teams, Bruce Arians, Carson Palmer teams, they won a lot of games. They were good teams, great teams, in fact, but they were, for the most part, finesse teams. They threw the ball a lot. They played complementary defense outside of maybe 1 year with Todd Bowles. They didn't have elite defensive personnel. This feels like something that just the Cardinals have never had before, where you've got the perfect marriage of this offense with this young dynamic quarterback that's coming into his own, and then suddenly a defense with interchangeable parts where you could be missing a Chandler Jones and still sack the opposing quarterback 6 times. That speaks to the depth. They've got safeties that can play corner. They've got linebackers that can kick to the edge. Defensive tackles, Jordan Phillips, coming out of the grave to play well with the absence of Corey Peters.
They cleared your name, Frank.
They cleared my name?
They did.
Oh.
They did.
How? What'd I do?
Because we put Jordan Phillips' absence on you. Maybe that you...
Thank you very much for
There
that.
you go. I will have also say this, and I don't mean any disrespect to these two gentlemen, but I think there's something to be said about the losses of Patrick Peterson and Larry Fitzgerald. Patrick Peterson mainly on the defensive side. I never felt like he was an absolute dog.
He's a finesse player.
Yeah.
He's a finesse player, right? This defense is not taking on that personality whatsoever. They want to hurt the hell out of you. You know what I mean? And Fitz, not a showboat guy, right? But these receivers are talking shit out there. So I wonder if the loss of those two guys has kind of changed the mentality of the team and made them kind of bust out of their shell. And now they're playing like a bunch of dogs on both sides of the ball.
Well, we've talked about this off air, that I think the loss of Larry has allowed Kyler to step in a more prominent leadership role in the locker room and in the offensive huddle. So I think that plays a big factor in it. And Kyler wants to talk shit. So I'm sure they're taking on that personality. And then defensively, you're spot on. Like Marco Wilson and Byron Murphy and Budda Baker want to talk all the shit. Their defensive line now, led by J.J. Watt, you saw him on the sideline. Like they got some bad motherfuckers on their defense for the first time in forever. And I like to swear on this show. I like to keep it buttoned up for Chierstin. But, I mean, it's a different dynamic completely.
So I got the final score to that game. South Florida won 58-42.
There you go.
But UMass put up 42 points.
Okay. Solid effort.
Did Andy Isabella play in that game? Was he on the team then? What year was this?
2018. He would have been.
Oh yeah, he definitely would have been on that team.
Yeah.
That's probably why they drafted him. God damn it, Spencer Whipple, whatever your name is.
Alone. It's not his fault.
DK Metcalf could be here right now.
Well, I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know about that. But getting a deeper dive though into just some other just interesting, like hearing Whipple talk. It was like he was talking about how he and Mike Bercovici, Go Sun Devils, were like going over the game plan once more over the weekend at some point, and it started raining, and both of them looked at each other and realized that like the call sheet or whatever they were looking at wasn't laminated, and like that's their job. And they realized, they're like, oh crap, we didn't do that job because like we've got other things to do. So like Burko had to go find somebody to like laminate the sheet so that they wouldn't get wet. Like little things like that.
That's
it was
hilarious.
Just like I mean, it's interesting where everybody was just like, oh crap. And then you've got Colt McCoy trying to, because he's Whipple's an assistant receivers coach. So he had to bring.
You sparked something in the chat.
Oh.
Somebody said Andy Isabella would have put up 100 yards on ASU.
I love Andy. He's a great kid. I'll always root for Andy.
The situation you're talking about is like when you're not on the show and I have to produce it, and then it's just a shit show, and I'm like, oh shit, Chierstin does this and this and this, and I just can't be Mr. Fun Guy, so I definitely can relate.
You can't be Mr. Fun Guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I gotta do all your shit that you
I know,
do.
there's a lot that goes
Chierstin
into
does so
it.
much for the show. I'm
So
not
much.
even playing.
So happy that we have.
Yes, makes our job immensely easier.
Well, I appreciate you guys. But yeah, so it was just interesting hearing about how the whole weekend unfolded. Oh yeah, that's what I was getting to. Colt McCoy, he had to sit with Colt McCoy and say, hey, can you like explain this from a quarterback's perspective, because I'm in the receivers room, and things like that, where it's just like when you sit back and think like what actually went down in order to pull this off, which by the way, he noticed when he was talking to Colt that Whipple's dad is has been a coach in the NFL and at the college ranks was a head coach at UMass, but Whipple coached Colt McCoy in Cleveland.
Wow.
And so that was interesting too. That was just a side note. I love the little side notes, but yeah, I mean, what they pulled off is dang impressive.
It's unbelievable. You can't say enough good things about it. I mean, like, no disrespect to the Houston Texans, and we'll preview that game as the week progresses. We could spend all week on what they did Sunday.
It's pretty special. I know that.
All right, Johnny, I did not check the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Are they still 17? What are they right now?
They're 17.5-point favorites.
I don't
So
like that at all.
the good news is if you wanted to bet the Cardinals money line to win $100, how much money do you think you'd have to put down to win $100 on the Cardinal money line?
1,700, right?
1,500.
1,500.
So you'd have to take $1,500 and say, Vegas, here's $1,500. If the Cardinals win, you pay me $100. But if the Cardinals somehow don't win, you lose $1,500.
But if you use the DraftKings Sportsbook app and you put $5 on the Cardinals and they win outright, you get how much money back?
200.
Hey. So it's a smarter bet.
That's an interesting thing. So I'm assuming that, nobody's gonna want to make that bet.
I would imagine not too many people at all are betting the Cardinal money line.
Even with the free money, I would say maybe bet on another team if you're a Cardinals fan this week. All right, well, as always, it's 21 and over for the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And as always, if you download the app, use the code PHNX. We also have some exciting news to break.
Absolutely.
We have new partners.
Oh, the mouse is not working. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Having some technical issues. The mouse is not working.
Do we have to charge it?
So I'm working on that, but they're seeing your comments in the chat. I just can't pull up any graphics until I figure out the mouse. So sorry, everyone. But
okay, well, maybe is it going to work at some point?
We're working on it. Yeah.
Is that why you crawled out?
Yeah, that's why.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll wait on the announcement then until we have. Some...
That's a hell of a tease.
Ooh, yeah.
We were almost there. We were almost there.
Almost.
Again, out of context quotes.
We don't want. Do I have a mouse? We don't want to do it without the graphics.
Do you carry one?
Well, because I was traveling.
Do I have a floppy disk?
And floppy disk. I have never used one of those. Excuse me.
Westville thinks that Larry's going to come back.
There's not.
Right.
No,
Not a chance at this point. Nope. No chance.
Why not?
Because where's he going to go?
On the team.
Just why?
Okay, but why?
I want a ring, maybe.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get a celebratory ring when they win the Super Bowl, and he comes out and he flips a coin.
Would you really want to get a ring that way, though?
No, they'll give him one though. They would give him one.
No, I would take the ring that you're talking about just to give it to Larry.
Oh, I see
but
what
I wouldn't want to go back mid-season. This team's already gelling. They don't need him.
He's not even training.
How do you know that?
We need to say something that needs to, you brought it up earlier. And thank you for saying that they, like, the four top receivers they have are significantly better than 38-year-old Larry Fitzgerald. That's not disputable. And they just traded for a Pro Bowl tight end. So everybody who thinks he can play tight end. So Saul's point where, like, you remove Larry and Pat, like, this is a new regime of Cardinal football. And I think that's in part why they're winning. So why don't go backwards, go forwards.
But I thought he said that he was staying in shape.
I mean, but staying in shape.
And staying in football shape, I got two different things.
And they're night and day. Trust me, I know that 100%.
I mean, Frank stays in shape.
I can stand up and show you I'm in shape, but I damn sure ain't going on that football field right now. I'll take a check.
I'm so glad we have a football player here.
I'll take a check. But those are live rounds out there. Those are live minds out there waiting for you to blow you up. And I know that for a fact. Like it's not easy.
Like, we love Larry. I can't say enough. Yes. Favorite Cardinal ever. We love you, Larry.
1,000,000%.
He's been the best player on a lot of bad teams. So it is unfortunate. But he's also been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs a few times. So,
but it's happened before in sports where the superstar and the legend finally retires after searching for that ring, and boom, the next year, oh look, we got a ring.
Yeah,
look at this.
There you go.
How about that? It's the most unfair thing in the world.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. But I mean, that's something. Well, I can't say for sure that he probably wouldn't want to if he could. I think he probably would if he could.
I think he probably would if he could.
If he could.
However, there's just something about the way Larry is carrying himself right now that tells me that he is done.
Yeah.
I think hearing Cliff, Cliff and Kime and whoever else, anytime they bid well, anytime they're on with any media outlet, the Larry question will get asked. And it's always been, well, he can come back whenever he wants, or, just something like that. And then the last time Cliff was asked, he was like, yeah, I think we're a little past that. And I think that was telling.
And you got to be respectful of the players that are there busting their butt every day and trying to get better. I mean, you watch, there are 2 slot receivers. That's what Larry plays. Operate on Sunday. Rondell Miller and Christian Kirk are playing phenomenal football. And A.J. Green has been a wonderful addition. They have some needs, maybe a corner, defensive line. Wide receiver is not one of them.
Okay, so what happens if there's an injury?
It just depends on what injury it is and who it's to.
I think your
I'm
boy.
Saying, if there was an injury to one of the slot receivers and you need a little more depth, then would you call Larry?
No, then your boy Andy Isabella probably gets the first call.
Also, a Cardinals update says, also, would Fitz come back for less than $11 million? And this kind of reminds me of what is literally just happening up the street in the Suns arena about how they said today that hey, we would love to have him at a max contract, DA back at a max contract of 3 or 4 years, when DA wanted 5. If Fitz got offered, less than 11 mil, hey, we wanted him to come back.
No, I don't think at this point it would be about money. I mean, DeAndre Ayton and Larry Fitzgerald, you're talking about like still beginning of your career and the end of your career. I don't think it would be about money for Fitz. I think legitimately it has to do with how bad he wants to be out there. Could he mentally say, all right, I'm going to go through the grind of another season? Or did he just, and we've talked about this, he had COVID and it was a rough year. He thought about it long and hard in the off season. I mean, all things considered, but I think if he felt like he could contribute to a team, because again, listen, you're a future Hall of Famer. You're a legend, Larry legend. Everybody loves you here in Arizona. Do you want to go in and sit on the bench for this team? Or do you want to go in and just play like you're not yourself because you played 1 year too long? Larry doesn't want to do that.
He would be in a very limited role if he came back. I don't see that happening. Even last year, he barely got touches in games, so it was a struggle last year, and I don't think that was it wasn't a lot of enjoyment for him. So
they don't play a 5th receiver. Who's their 5th receiver right now? They don't play one. Who's their 4th receiver? Rondell Moore. What does he do? He's their 4th receiver, and he has all of their return duties.
Amazing stuff.
So if you're the 4th, 5th, 6th receiver on a roster, you got to have special team responsibilities. Larry's not playing special teams. And I think to your point, from the salary cap standpoint, there are $3 million over the cap right now after absorbing all of Zach Ertz's money. They're going to pay him his whole salary the rest of the season. So he'd have to take, even if it came back, the vet minimum. They have no more money left to give.
Interesting.
No Larry on this show.
Have we fixed the mouse? No.
Doing the best that I can.
She's struggling over there.
Should we do winners and losers now? You want to do winners and losers?
Well, we have a whole Frank Knows segment.
Yeah.
We don't. Crud muffin.
Muffin. Yes.
We can't even do
Crud
Frank
muffin.
Knows.
We need shirts.
Yeah.
We need shirts.
Cheerstinisms.
Can I get a dramatically? I want a dramatic.
Yeah, dramatically. Yes.
Dramatic.
Dramatically. Crud muffin. Yes. Love it.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. We can't even do Frank's entire segment. Okay, sure. Do we want to move on to winners and losers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Okay.
What are the chances?
What?
That's just Leah getting excited behind the computer, folks.
Are we back? All right. Well, since we made the people wait, let's just start then with the big announcement.
Yeah.
We are partnering with Bird Gang Travel
Woo!
Club. Hey.
There we go. Woo woo.
And we have an awesome event coming up at Lola next Thursday for the Packers game, October 28th. It's at Westgate over by the stadium from 2 to 5 p.m. Come hang with us. We're going to do a pregame show. We're going to stick around, do a postgame show live on site at Lola, which I was first thing I did when I saw Lola was check out their menu. I already have like all these things that I want to order when I'm there.
Yeah.
Great. It looks like they have amazing food. And we're excited to be partnering with Bird Gang Travel Club.
Bird Gang Travel Club, if you don't already know, which I'm sure you do, has equal the kind of passion and enthusiasm for this Cardinal franchise that we do at PHNX. And Saul can speak to this. That's why this partnership made so much sense. I've had the opportunity to work with them on numerous occasions. They are first-class, diehard Arizona Cardinal fans that are routinely on the road supporting this team.
Yeah.
So when you're frustrated about the lack of fans at the home games, and then you turn around, you see Cardinal fans on the road, that's Burgain travel.
Yeah, that's Burgain travel. $55 to get into the event. It's beer, as much as beer as you can drink in that
unlimited
3-hour
beer.
period. Yeah. So there's that unlimited beer. Then you got there's a buffet as well that you can partake in. And
Celebrity.
and then you can get your stuff signed by my man Frank right here and take some pictures. And Chierstin and Johnny will be there as well. They're like superstars in the PHNX family. So come out and support.
Johnny will flex for the photo.
He will. I promise you. He will wear his red shoes as well.
You can stand next to me and feel superior. You can definitely do that. I'm going to pop away and go to the game, and then I'll come back and hang out some more.
For sure. So we'll be there for the pregame and the postgame. So come out and hang out with us. It's at Westgate, so you can walk across the street to the stadium. Also, if you get there at 2 o'clock, you can avoid all that shitty West Side traffic. There you go.
Yeah.
We can't wait. That's going to be awesome.
Nobody got time for all that traffic. All right, let's move on. Awesome. I'm excited about that. I was like, wait, I still have more energy to give to this topic. All right, now we can move on. All right, let's go to our Frank Knows segment. Frank, you have some plays that you want to break down for us. Oh, I love that graphic.
Every time I see that, it blows my mind. Look, Johnny, don't look at them pecs.
So
look at them guns right there, baby.
That was Bo Jackson.
I was like,
look,
now
Frank knows now.
I've
It's
seen
all
Pete Frank
look,
Sanders
you can-
photos
give
on
me-
Google.com.
give me a
Frank
bat.
Sanders.
Give me a bat right now.
Frank
Pretty
was
sure I could-
is a physical specimen. You don't get drafted in the second round out of Auburn if you're some scrub.
That's true.
Only if you're Andy Isabella coming out of UMass.
Oh,
I'm just
damn,
kidding.
shots fired.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Shots
What
fired.
did he ever do to you?
I'm just playing my audience on Twitter because there's not a lot of love for Andy. All right, continue, Frank.
Hey, look, we always try to give you guys some insights on some things that is happening to our team. It is transitioning into what Johnny continually says very well, is that we have all the pieces. Everyone's growing and maturing into their roles. And what I want to do today is I just want to point out some things, see that you've seen the highlights of them, but there's other things that you might be missing, and why these highlights are happening. So the first play I just want to show, again, I'm ready whenever you are. You'll see our defense on the field first. You'll see JJ at the bottom. But all I wanted to say was to the left tackle for the Cleveland Browns, hi, my name is JJ Watt, and I'm just saying bye, boy. Like, I'm going by you like you're not even standing there. JJ's at the bottom right. He flies right around that guy. He gets up there right up on Baker, and then, again, causes a bad throw. But that's something that, because JJ's finally playing in his actual position, which is defensive end and not defensive tackle, because we got some guys we can move around, it frees him up in a one-on-one situation, which is absolutely special. Yeah. That's when you can really see JJ become the guy that you want to see. So my statement to the left tackle was, bye, boy, because I'm flying right by you. And he did that all day, versus them, and he put pressure on Baker very good because he's in his right position. The next play you'll see is Edmonds. Okay, so what I wanted to point out the fact that I always talk about that. When you're watching football, pause it right there. When you're watching football, look at the center. We're always counting, right? You always hear Blue, Frazier, or Lake, or Omaha. You hear these terms that we use, but in this play right here, you'll see from the center going to the right, you can count the man 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then you can count the defensive lineman of the Cleveland Browns, 1, 2, 3, and then the linebacker makes 4. At the top left, you'll see 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You'll see the numbers matter in the game of football, right? So when you run the play, you'll see it's an RPO. Pause it right at that. Pause it right there. See that defensive end at the top right? Kyler has an opportunity to determine if he steps down, then he'll keep the ball and go on the outside edge, and then he'll have 3 blockers up top in the receiver position. You can see that right there, which will give us the numbers. And then if you're looking right now, since Chase gets the ball, defensive end comes up the field. Kyler makes a great read. He hands the ball off to Chase. Go ahead and run the play. Pause right there. You can see our entire line. Like right now, it's just him one-on-one, and it's a foot race. It's a first down already. But when you count, when we get to the line of scrimmage and we start counting the plays or counting the personnel, it literally tells us what we're going to do. Sometimes you might hear an audible. He might change it from left to right. Who's Mike? Who's Sam? But it changes dynamics because we're always looking for what odds best fit our position. And you can go ahead and run the play, and you'll see Chase right now. Chase gets out, uses the speeds, and that's what you want to see out of our offense. That's Kyler growing. That's our offensive line maturing. That's those guys communicating and being able to button everybody up. You know, it's a hat to a hat. We always say it's a hat on a hat. Once you get a hat on a hat in the right position, then everyone else can use their talent. Chase gets up inside in the hole. The safety comes down. He hides behind the hole, and then he bursts out. You know, that's what you're looking for when you're watching your team. This is why the plays are happening, because Kyler's making the right read, and the line is getting a hat on a hat. Next play, we'll see. Okay, this is Murray and who?
Kirk.
Okay, here we go. Boom. So we always talk about Kyler. You know, we say Kyler's leaving plays on the field, but he's making the right reads right now. Our offensive line did an absolute fabulous job against a very, very good Cleveland defensive line. You can go ahead and hike the ball, and right at that moment, you can pause right there. See, he has a pocket, right? And the defensive end on the left side has already told him, you have to step up in the pocket. And so the two interior linemen was doing like a TE stunt, or our linemen bunched them up in a position where Kyler now can slide to the left. He has more receivers to the left, so that automatically tells you it's better for him to slide to the left than it is to slide to the right. Go ahead and run the play, and then right there. And now you have a position. Look, our Johnny always says our players are better than yours. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, you're not gonna stop Chierstin. You know, you have to pay attention to, once Kyler starts moving out of that pocket, Chierstin, you got to make a decision. Are you going to stay on that receiver or start coming to, now you got to stop the run. But if he's behind the line of scrimmage and he can throw the ball, then that puts a position where, you know, Chierstin gets behind the defense and touchdown passes right there.
This guy, NFL AZ Cardinals, actually makes a good point. We didn't hear anything about Myles Garrett the entire game.
That's true.
Not one thing.
Cardinals offensive line, Sean Kugler's the best position coach on the roster. He's phenomenal.
I'm shocked that, I mean, you can't replace a guy like Rodney Hudson, but a game and a half without him, and the Cardinals haven't skipped a beat.
No, Max Garcia, if you're into rankings, Pro Football Focus had him as the highest rated Arizona Cardinal offensive line.
Wow.
He was phenomenal.
In that game, right?
In that game. And we watched that fourth quarter against San Francisco, and I was of the mindset, I'm like, they are running the ball effectively. What is on the screen?
That tackle when Watt was coming at him. Crud muffin.
That's the perfect use of crud muffin, too. Thank you so much. You get it.
You got another one, Frank?
I do have one more play, just maybe one or two more plays, guys. So we'll just get right into this motion right here. This is something that, in the red zone, trying to get pressure on Kyler. Again, we're always counting, right? We got a 2x2 set, which is two receivers to the bottom, two receivers to the top. Kyler's in the shotgun position, running back to the left, right? So we're starting from the center to the bottom left. And if you guys can really see it, you'll see that the Cleveland Browns has 4 defenders left of our center, all right? So when you look at our line, the center is 1, our guards 2, our tackles 3, and our running backs makes 4, all right? Or that's 1, 2, 3. That's 2. Yeah, it's correct. 2, 3. So, but they have 4 defenders getting ready to do something. Go ahead and run the play, and we'll pause it just for a second and said hike. Okay, boom. So now you'll see they're making the checks. They say hike, pause. At that moment, when you see we don't have the numbers to cover that, and the only person, and what we typically call this is a hot read. And so when you see 2, typically out of the slot, when you see 2 defenders coming off that side, you take a little quick step, you come up the field just enough so the quarterback can see you. Look, Kyler made the perfect read. The throw is perfect. It's in a good position where only him and D-Hops can make a play right now, because they have more guys blitzing than we actually have that can stop that. Go ahead and run the play, and you see this is to play D-Hop. Then this is just talent.
Oh, filthy.
We're just so much better than you. That's just D-Hops, just being D-Hops. But when you see the offense, why it worked because the Kyler made the perfect read. He made the throw, gave him a chance. D-Hops made the read. He saw that these 2 guys, one stay blitz, and they come off. We don't have the numbers to pick him up. So he don't have time. So it's a hot read because they have to get the ball out of his hand pretty fast. And then, again, D-Hops makes the play. He rocks the baby to sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're watching your team through maturation, education, and these guys are on the same page. That's why we're winning, and we're doing such a good job.
Well, I think we saw the maturation of Kyler Murray on display in this game because he had more leeway to check at the line of scrimmage than he ever has in an NFL game because of the situation. and he was given that leeway, and he still.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was checking my phone
People
for
are
a stat.
so rude on this podcast.
I know.
I didn't say anything.
Never me though, right?
So, dude, look, you guys' interaction is perfect. There's a lot of things y'all are saying we would love to chime into, without a doubt. But you know that
What
this
happened, Chierstin?
Chierstin is tickled.
I don't know. Johnny said something with a serious face, and it got me.
He's a dummy.
And guess
I'm
what?
a serious boy.
Look, real ministry. You're absolutely right. When we get Zach, it's just going to be more mind-boggling for defenses to try to stop us. I had one play that I don't know if they put it on there, but I had one play where the Cardinals did something offensively I've never seen them do. They had Rondell caught the ball, but they had 4 receivers to one side, and had 4 receivers and a tight end on the right, and it was just it blew my mind because you got all your dogs over here and your weapons. Just imagine if Zach's over here. So now it just opens up the one side of the field. Kyler catches the ball. He looks to the right. It's one-on-one situations. It's going to be so hard for teams to really cover and defend against this team. And it's not, honestly, crazy thing about it is I don't hear anyone griping about catches or touches.
Yeah.
Or no one's arguing about who's getting the ball. Everyone, because when we go back and watch film, and we're not getting the full panoramic view, but if we have a chance to watch film like we watch in the NFL, we watch a real panoramic view, and then we watch a close shot. But you would see 2 and 3 receivers open.
Yeah.
You'd see 3 receivers open, and he has windows to make those throws in. It's just because our guys are that much better, and they can get open. They're not fighting to get open. They can get open because they're really, really good receivers.
The other thing is I mentioned Myles Garrett, but Beanard in the chat said, did a tight end even catch the ball Sunday? I'm like,
had one. Daryl Daniels had 1 target.
They were talking about. I was talking about
sorry.
Njoku on defense. Or on offense for the Cleveland. Like their stars were absent.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously Odell got hurt a little bit, but then he came back and he only had 1 catch after that. The Cardinals. That's why the Cardinals deserve all the love. Is because maybe Cleveland was missing a running back in Nick Chubb, but for the most part, they dominated everybody else that was on the field, and that's why they're the best team
they're
in the
also
NFL.
missing 2 of their starting offensive linemen.
But that's the NFL.
But let me follow.
So the Cardinals are missing their center.
I know,
But I'm with you. That's what the excuse nationally people want to make.
They just might, but correct. But then also maybe they just don't have the depth or not as well coached as the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, and we talked about it all week. Baker Mayfield needs everything to go right for him to succeed.
I'm gonna follow this with no. You're afraid. You're afraid of your opponents. Aaron Donald was a kneel in a game where he was a beast the week before. True. And Ramsey was a beast. He was a shutdown cornerback the week before against the Buccaneers. He moved around the field all up and down. And they made plays to beat Tampa. But when they faced the Cardinals, they were non-existent. That's the power of having players. And I'm telling y'all, look, when you're watching it, when they watch the film of the Cardinals, they got no answers. And so that's what they'll be thinking in their mind. I got no answers. And when you watch what our defense is able to do to a offensive line, the tight end probably has to stay in and block and chip more than he's just free to go about and do what he wants to do in his routes. That's the power of really having a good team. I've been on so many losing teams, and I was on 1 or 2 with the Cardinals that I knew we had players that no one had answers for. And I swear, when we got rid of those players, we were nothing to the NFL. I mean, quarterbacks did stuff against our defense that was stupid. Donovan McNabb used to pat the ball 3 and 4 times. Brett Favre, who wasn't a scrambling quarterback, would just bounce left and right and then throw it that way. And he hit guys open. It was just
that's defeating.
Holmgren could run. He could run play action, sprint, boot, and just murder us because we didn't have the players. When we had them, we was dogs. They feared us, but they didn't fear Jake because they knew our offense line wasn't great. So that's why we lost some of our games back in the days. But I'm just telling you, this team right here causes other players, real players, to be real average players. That's the NFL.
Hey, maybe we're just better.
We got a really, really good team.
Maybe we're just better.
That's what Frank knows. I'm telling you this right now. I know what I know. I know what I don't know. But I know what they know. And they allow us to know a lot of things.
What are you saying?
That's what I'm talking about. Sit on that one.
You sound
What?
like Clifford Franklin.
In the heck
Clifford
did
Franklin's
you
like
just
catching the
say?
cold.
That's what I'm
I'm
talking
the only
about.
one catching it. I'm the only one coming down with it, baby.
We were talking about Frank in his heyday, by the way. I did find a photo.
Oh
Do you
my
have
God.
it, Leah? Oh, it's... Look at Frank.
Oh, look at that.
Handsome.
Frank
I
Sanders.
was young back then. I'm mature now. I got that. I got that daddy want to date you.
What
wanna
does
be
it say,
dated.
Leah? Anything interesting?
Yeah, it's all blurry. That's
Yeah,
that
good. I'm
standard
glad.
depth
Remove
TV
that.
stuff.
Please remove
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's like back in. That's
That's the tube with the antenna on the back.
yeah. That's yeah.
You look mean.
Nah. Look, catch me in the right moment. I don't even know who took that picture. I don't.
It was like a card or something. I don't know. I pulled it from Google.com. I think it's a picture
The
of
classic oversized
That is
shirts in the
definitely
90s.
yeah.
yeah.
Probably was a
I
right
had that
there.
hat too.
Did you?
I did.
You still have that hat?
No.
Oh wow.
No.
It
Oh,
was
My
a...
ex-girlfriend took it when we broke up.
Oh my
Shit.
God.
I was like 15. She was like, I want all this stuff.
I'm taking this hat.
Oh, she bought the hat for
Yeah,
you
she
though.
bought the hat for me.
Oh,
She
I
wanted it
thought
back.
it was like the version of like you know when like in middle school and you give somebody a hoodie, like they can wear your hoodie, have like your name on the back or something
Mhm,
like that.
mhm.
Yeah, and then good luck getting your hoodie back.
Well,
That's what I
she gave it to him and she was like, I need that back.
Yeah.
This
So
this
she took
this
it,
is
probably
over.
just
I need that back.
Gave it to Goodwill after that. I'm like, oh, awesome. That's great.
Well,
Oh my God. It's too funny. He said that hat.
That's $150 now. I'm sorry, I never liked her.
Oh my God. Look. Good answer. I never liked you
Anyway, I can't transition into
I
a
hope she's
Manscaped
not.
ad for
I
you.
hope she's not listening. That's all right.
Not any
Let's
that's
talk about DraftKings
PG-13.
first because
Oh, that's
Johnny,
too
you
funny.
mentioned that maybe you don't. What?
Shane in the chat.
He said he's traumatized by his ex-girlfriend.
Because he said the other day on his podcast that the only thing that we need is consistency. He's like, that's the same complaint that girlfriends had about me. That's what Shane said about himself, man. Oh, I love that kid.
It's the oldest 24-year-old you've ever seen in your
For
life.
real.
Oh, that's too funny.
DraftKings. Let's talk about the promo
Yeah.
code.
So, well, I was gonna
Oh, that's
say if you don't want to bet on the Cardinals to win or with the line and whatever that is, then because you're not going to get a ton of money for it.
No,
the better
there's
option
no
would
money to
be
be made.
to do a same game parlay.
Yeah.
And be a little more specific with it because the other good thing about it though is when the more you combine, more picks you combine, the bigger the payout is. So something to think about.
I like the same game parlay. I also like getting cleaned up like I'm going to do next Thursday when we go to our event, and I'm going to be looking, cleaned up, looking nice.
I'm like, whoa, what?
And I'm going to use manscaped.com to get there. Manscaped, promo code PHNX, 20% off site-wide, free shipping. The Lawnmower 4.0 is how I will get ready for that evening event. So,
What kind of event do you think it is?
I'm trying to figure out.
maybe rock a
What
nice,
is going on
maybe
here?
not rock a nice plunging V-neck, so I'm taken care of. And good news, you want to come up, get a photo with the gang. I'll be smelling good because I'm going to be using their body wash as well. So manscaped.com, promo code PHNX. Site-wide, you get 20% off, free
Johnny's
shipping.
got his own event at the event.
Get a private event going with me at our PHNX tailgate behind the banner.
paywall. Oh my goodness. Oh, the wheels have fallen off. Oh my goodness.
Chierstin, save us, please.
Yes.
Did you say shave us or save us? Save us?
Oh,
Get my lawnmower out and shave me, Chierstin. All right.
What is happening?
Oh man, the out of context quotes are gonna just be going
Oh
crazy.
my goodness. Wow.
I couldn't get from point A to point B there with my transition. It went horribly wrong. But general consensus, manscaped.com.
My man said, I think I'm going to skip this event.
That's probably wise. Probably wise.
All right, winners and losers, maybe?
Oh, I just got
Oh,
a
my
nice little ab
goodness.
workout. Yeah, let's head into winners and losers to cap off this show that has very much been derailed.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first with their? What should we do? Losers first, just and end on a high note. Let's do losers first.
Okay, losers first. My loser is Shannon Sharp, who got absolutely dunked on by DK Metcalf. So Shannon Sharp was critical of a fumble that DK Metcalf had in their game on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers, to which DK Metcalf subtweeted Shannon Sharp and said, "Stop questioning me, little boy," to Shannon Sharp, the Pro Football Hall of Famer. Sharp then said, "Nothing to question. That was a dumbass play, and your pride won't let you admit it. You can't question anything I've done. Pray your resume will be as complete as mine. Pray. Enjoy the rest of your day." To which DK Metcalf said, "From the looks of it, I can wipe my shit with your resume. Continue to gossip, you washed up wannabe."
Wait, that's not gossip.
Oh,
It's his job.
DK Metcalf just dunking on poor Shannon Sharp. That's a bad look.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. I guess I get that, but also he fumbled the ball. So media, so he's now, he's in the media. So it's not like it was just some athlete or former athlete that's talking shit. He's doing his job.
I Googled it. So you know how old DK Metcalf was when Shannon Sharp retired in 2003? 6 years old. You think DK Metcalf gives a what about who Shannon Sharp is?
I know, but here's the thing too. Sometimes, and Frank, you can call me out if you think I'm wrong, but I feel like sometimes players get too emotionally involved in what other people fairly said. Sometimes it's unfair, but this seems pretty fair to talk about, a mistake that he made in a game, for his job. I mean, when you're in the spotlight, you're open to praise and you're open to criticism. And he gets his fair share of praise. He made a mistake. Shannon commented on it. And in my opinion, it seemed like he was overreacting a little bit to what is fair.
I think it's a little bit different when it comes from a former player.
Yeah.
If I was, there's like a brotherhood there amongst players. Am I right or am I wrong about that?
You're right, but Shannon has a mic in his hand right now.
True.
Yeah,
true,
but he doesn't have that hat on.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's still like a line that maybe you don't cross.
Shannon's got a big following too. If it comes from Johnny No Name with a blue check mark and 5,000 followers, he's not giving it the time of day.
Let's do it like this here. Shannon's right. He's wrong, and he's being a little B about it. 100%. Across the board, he's being a little B about it.
That's what I said.
If Shannon was on his team, Shannon be in his face telling him the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Without a problem. If we was in the locker room watching the meeting and we was, what you doing, bro? Like, we was watching the film. What are you doing? Like, Brad, don't do that again.
I think it's embarrassing.
Don't do that
I think
again.
DK Metcalf is the loser in that situation because I think it's embarrassing
Shannon,
on his part.
Shannon have this mic in his hand. Shannon has so many more influences, and his career wipes DK's wannabe wish career. 1,000%. Without a doubt, like that. I'm pissed.
I knew I'd get this reaction from Frank. That's why I did it, because he play against Shannon Sharp.
I'm pissed. No, but I mean, Shannon's got a resume that says, "Man, who you? Like, you ain't done nothing in the league yet. You out here flossing like you doing something with your hair all painted up in your muscles."
That's why I did it.
It triggered him, man.
You know what I mean? But no, I'm just like, it's just like it just crossed the league. You ain't done nothing. Yeah. You ain't done anything.
It's a bad look. Let's agree, bad look for both of them.
I mean, not for Shannon. Shannon said something simple like, "Hey, if I mess up, call me out. Frank, you messed up. I messed up. I got it. My bad." If he said, I messed up, but you did exactly what you did. What you did was wrong. And I'm a former player. If Shannon really wanted to dog him out, he talk about his hair. He talk about his commercials. He talk about the little bullshit he posts, all the extra stuff he does that has nothing to do with football. So I would say, bro, that's why you did that, because you're not paying attention to your real job. You think this little fake money you making gonna cover this real money? I'll wipe your career and your little bullshit money off like nothing. That's how he really can talk, and he can make phone calls. Like, you don't know the power Shannon got. He can make phone calls. I can make phone calls, and I know Shannon can do that. Man, I better leave Billy. Quit fucking around.
I apologize. This is perfect.
I'm sorry.
This is purposeful.
Y'all heard me. I apologize.
Woo!
But that's real talk.
Okay.
Like
Johnny.
So I think Frank's loser is DK Metcalf. Then.
1,000 because
That's
it's me.
that's
Yeah.
exactly
Mark
what
Sanchez because I
Yeah,
can't
I
stand
can't
listening
do
to
it.
his
Yeah, I'm
dumbass
sorry.
on the freaking show.
No.
I apologize.
And the
Oh.
Cardinal fans who had to
apologize.
listen to him last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been brutal.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, my actual loser. So for a second there, I thought I was about to have Frank's wrath for my opinion, but Frank actually agrees and has an
agree.
even stronger opinion.
Yeah, man, he's wrong. That dude's
Slightly.
wrong.
I just wanted to
Slightly
read the tweets.
stronger.
I really don't
Just
have a
slightly.
dog in this fight.
What's it? What is it? Muffins? Crud muffin?
Crud muffin.
Crud
Muffin
muffins
top?
Crud muffins top on your boy.
So my actual loser though is Patrick Mahomes' brother Jackson Mahomes, who I just because of this news this week figured out who he was. He's obviously the brother of Patrick Mahomes and a TikTok star. He did his TikTok video at Washington football game that was honoring the late Sean Taylor, and he did the video on his number that's on the field, and he apologized for it. I don't know. Here's my thing. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he actually knew what he was doing, but that's why I'm saying you're a loser, because you're at a sporting event, you're in the spotlight for more reasons than one, and you're at a game where they're honoring somebody, and you're that clueless. You're that clueless that you don't know that you're on top of his number in front of all these people and creating TikToks, and like, because you're so caught up in what you're creating your content and how many views and how cool it looks, for you to be on the field, etc., whatever. So it was just, the whole thing was disgusting. I assumed I was like, who the heck's Jackson Mahomes? Is he related to Patrick? And then sure enough he is, but I had no idea who he was.
So I looked at his TikTok the other day, and he has a video that has well over 1,000 views, or however TikTok works. And it's him saying, hey, a lot of people have been asking me what my daily routine looks like. And it's literally him brushing his teeth and picking on his clothes and then getting on his private jet, courtesy of his brother. And it has over 1,000 views. And it makes me legitimately concerned for the youth of this country that's who we're opting to make famous. It's and you watch his dances. I mean, like, I'm not a dance expert. He's not the best dancer. So just poor judgment all around.
Yeah, bad press ain't always bad for you.
Well, when you've got a brother,
Classless ain't always being.
you've got a brother that plays in the league. I mean, you need to be aware of how you conduct yourself. Is my whole thing.
He's still trying to create his own image. He's like one of the Kardashians right now.
That's a good comparison. That's a great
I can get
comparison.
myself from underneath you, and they'll start liking me the way they like you, and then I'll start getting this content money like you getting it, bro. I'm trying to be that $400 million man.
Yeah.
Can I give my winner? Because
we got to wrap this up because the camera's about to die.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've come around on somebody being a winner since we've talked last, and that's Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons went to Sixer practice today.
I knew you were gonna
and had his phone out, and then got kicked out, got purposely suspended because he wants out of Philadelphia. Went to a strip club right after he was done at practice today. Went to Delilah Strip Club in Philadelphia.
Oh, yes.
So he's about to get traded for pennies on the dollar. So I've come around full circle. Gentlemen, you're right. Ben Simmons is a winner.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Is that a winner, or is that like a train wreck that we're watching?
He's trying to get it, force their hand.
No, like a good thing or like a bad thing?
This is a bad situation.
Yeah,
all
that
the way
doesn't.
around, so.
Oh my God.
Anytime you have to go to the strip club at 2:00 in the afternoon, it ain't gonna be a pretty sight.
He wanted the
The
wings.
A+ talent's not on display.
He's not lemon pepper Lou. He might be, sweet and sassy, hot and
Are
flaming.
they a future sponsor of this podcast? We mentioned them enough.
Magic City.
All right, quickly before the camera dies, Frank, go.
My winner is us. It's us, man. I just gotta say us.
Frank.
Us. Because we're doing something we love. I love y'all. I enjoy being with y'all, man. I'm loving the way we interact, and this is
Frank, do you mean that, or did you just not come prepared?
Swear to God, no. Boo, stop.
Damn.
Come on. Dang. I mean, it's too much going on right now.
It's like the time I was scrolling my computer. She called me out. She's like, "What are you doing right now? Researching the segment?"
Like, no, I got this. No, just this is new for me in a lot of areas, but the interaction is great. You guys got a lot of flavor, a lot of love. it's making me open up to some areas I had already closed off. So I think I'm winning because I'm with y'all.
Here we go.
100%. I'm the
Wow,
winner.
Frank.
Love that.
Love you too, brother.
Love you too, brother. There we go. Bye bye.
My winner is JJ Watt, just because I just think he's meant so much to this team, and even though he wasn't getting the sacks that people love to clamor about, he was making an impact on this team in so many ways that people just didn't notice. And then this week in Cleveland, I think people took more notice that JJ Watt is not gone, and he's not a has-been. He's still there, and he's still as relevant as he always was, and very thankful to have him on the team.
True that.
My winner for the second time this season is Aaron Rodgers for his "I own you" comment to the Bears.
Yes.
That was amazing. I didn't realize that I was like an Aaron Rodgers fan. I kind of am. I kind of like him as I guess, I don't know if this is like insulting, but to call him kind of like a character in the league. I like it.
Oh, he is.
I like it.
For sure. Cool.
Okay. All right,
Yep.
guys, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on social media at PHNX_sports, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll see you tomorrow.